What's going on, Jeromes? So, Jesus Christ, like, my God. So, in the pantheon of frustrating games, this one is up there. And I know, it was like, well, the Vikings, they don't have Kirk Cousins, all this stuff. And this entire season has been a gauntlet of woulda, coulda, shoulda games. And the Vikings allegedly fall to 7-7 when they easily could have a much better record than that. But it is what it is. And this game, when you head into the fourth quarter up 17-3, felt pretty good. Felt pretty good about things, and it just unraveled, and so many opportunities over and over and over again, and the Vikings just simply did not get it done. And it sucks, and, you know, like we said, in the grand scheme of things, the road out-of-conference game doesn't really matter, but it definitely matters in the records, and, I mean, it's tough right now. So the Vikings at 7-7, still technically in the 6th seed, but of course that's with a lot of action pending to play as the Packers, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Falcons and the Saints all chilling at 6 and 7. So a little bit of scoreboard watching right now. And what sucks is that the Vikings, they did firmly hold their destiny in the palm of their hands with the Lions, but that sucks. That just sucks, man. All right. So you got a question or comment? Toss a couple bucks in the super chat. Levi 45, $5. I know there were some bad decisions by Mullens, terrible play calls by Kevin O'Connell, but the defense allowed 24 points in the last quarter overtime. Don't worry, we'll get to that. Derek Baker, $20. Flores says Kevin O'Connell to take the timeout before fourth down, but Kevin O'Connell ignored him. Kevin O'Connell must be put on notice by Quasey. Yeah, I'm not reading that. Yeah, it's just the entire thing is just extremely frustrating, and yeah. Lots of blame to go around, but we got 10 takeaways. Mitch Buchanan, $20 or $2. When you double on 11, you only hit an ace. FML. It's kind of what it seems like. 10 takeaways. First half mistakes murdered. So Nick Mullens with 2 inexcusable interceptions. I mean, basically, the Vikings left 6 to 14 points up on the board, which, I mean, you think it's like, okay, we're up 17-3 in the fourth quarter. That won't come back to bite us in the ass, but certainly did. Fourth quarter defense and overtime stank. It did. Where, yes, the defense got a big-time stop to start overtime, which is great, but they allowed 3 straight touchdown drives in OT, 21 points to the Bengals in the fourth stanza, and it was just tough, man. And the Bengals got bailed out, 3rd and 21, Jamar Chase and the whole T. Higgins play. Respect. I mean, Jake Browning just throwing up arm punts and then prayers answered. That's ridiculous, man. But the largest one was in overtime. So you had 3rd and inches, and okay, just run a normal sneak with Mullens. He would have gotten it, except the Bengals call timeout. And then you push twice in a row with Brandon Powell, who's 5'8", $181, doing the pushing. And you actually lost yardage. It's just so frustrating. Put the Bengals on a short field, and then Byron Murphy and company, they gave up 3rd and 9. It's just, it was basically so many things had to go wrong, and so many things had to go right for the Bengals for them to win. And this is one of those games that's going to stick with you. And yes, the Vikings, I mean, they still have 3 division games left, 2 of them at home. And hopefully, Detroit slips up tonight against the stupid Broncos. But there's no one to blame but themselves. And, you've seen how talented this team can be, but they just can't close out a couple of these games, and that's what's frustrating. And it comes down to, hey, shoulda, coulda, woulda beat the Bears, shoulda, coulda, woulda beat the Broncos. Same thing with the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Eagles, and the Buccaneers. Every single game this year, the Vikings should have closed out. The Vikings were certainly in, and they just let it slip. And it just really sucks. Mullens, we saw the good and the bad with Mullens. I mean, he is a gunslinger, and we said it at the start of the week. It's like, I mean, Nick Mullens is not your backup veteran backup quarterback is simply going to check it down. Like, he is going to be a guy who's going to be that gunslinger back there. But Mullens, 26 to 33, 303, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Actually, both of the touchdowns to Addison were ill-advised throws, especially the second one. Boone's $5. The absolute dumbest play calling I've seen all season. It's Skull Gang or don't bang. It's fair. It's just Jar, 279 Canadian. Likely Flores as head coach next year. I don't think that they would do that to O'Connell, but man, that is so frustrating. And what really sucks is that Kevin O'Connell called a great game up until the end. I mean, the offense was moving the rock. They were putting up points, and the defense gave them the shot in overtime, and they were moving the ball well in that spot too. But the back-to-back tush pushes with the smallest guy on the team. But hey, was Greg Joseph not available to push? Why are you doing that? And should they have just taken that 59-yard field goal at the end? I don't know. Going to be a lot of second guessing going forward, but either way, it's just ridiculous. And there's equal amounts of blame. Like Kevin O'Connell, play calling, the Flores defense, giving up 3 touchdowns, 3 straight touchdown drives. It's ridiculous. Ty Chandler was RB1. So lost in the stoop. Ty Chandler 23 for $132 and a tutty. Getting it done, man. Also 3 catches for 25. Even when Madison gets back, he needs to remain as the running back 1. Also, paid to Neil Hunter. So 2 sacks to Neil, 15.5 career high. And Mr. Fibonacci, $2. The game was on Flores, not Kevin. It's on both of them. 100% it's on both of them. The Flores defense gave it away in the fourth quarter, but they got themselves a good stop in overtime, and then offensively they just did not capitalize at the end. It's just really rough. Hawkinson dragging his ass out there. 6 for 63 on 7, looking really good. JJ made his presence known. Addison had himself a bust-out game, which is fantastic, and it's just... And it's crazy. So take a look at the Vikings playoff odds here in a second. How can the Vikings make the playoffs? So Vikings, before the game, they were 69% nice to make the playoffs. But with the Bengals loss, I believe that drops down to 60. Maybe. Close enough. But basically... what it comes down to is that the 2 games against the Lions and the game against the Packers are key. And like we said, the out-of-conference road games are about as meaningless as you can have in the regular season in terms of tiebreakers. But for your overall record, obviously it matters, and it sucks. It sucks that they gave this one away, and it's just so damn frustrating. And plenty of blame to go around. Mr. Washi, $5. Do you think we see Hall next week? Time for Valhalla? Nah, I think it is going to be Mullens again next week, where Mullens showed enough good. And, I mean, obviously there was the downside there, but the second half he actually played really well. Aside from the very ill-advised throw to Addison, which ended up well, I don't know, man. But, I mean, it's just so... How many times have we been here as Vikings fans where it's just like snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, a game that you shoulda, coulda, woulda had, and basically it's been like that all season. I mean, starting out 1-4, easily could have won each of those 4 games that you lost, and then the Broncos and the Bears games, which was ridiculous. Bridge Boys, $5. That moonshot hanging throws by Browning always happen to work out. Unbelievable luck, which is fair. I mean, Browning got bailed out a ton by his receivers. He made some good throws, yes, but everyone's creaming in their jeans over Jake Browning. No. I mean, it's really more about T. Higgins and Jamar Chase when he was healthy in that game. So, I don't know. But basically, got an extra day to get ready for the Lions on Christmas Eve, but also, they played today too. But, yeah, there's no time to wallow. Because the Vikings can still finish the thing strong. Got to be scoreboard watching a little bit tomorrow, and we'll just go from there, man. But again, life as a Vikings fan, nothing is ever easy. It would have been beautiful to be 8-6 and have that gap, the game and a half gap against the rest of the field, but wasn't meant to be. But the Vikings, again, 2 games at home, which is key. Ain't scared of the Lions. Certainly am not scared of the Packers. And, it would almost be easier if you just got your ass kicked. But the fact that you just gave the game away, the Bengals didn't win. The Vikings beat themselves. That's exactly what happened, man. Martin Sims, $100 in the super chat. What up? Why would you run the same play that didn't work on third down? They would never expect it because it would be so stupid if you did. But yeah, that's an absolutely good point. Where, I mean, that's what sucks because O'Connell actually called a pretty damn good game throughout most of it, except those back-to-back tush pushes are just going to bite him in the ass, and rightfully so because that was the highest. That was the highest leverage spot in the game. I mean, Vikings get that first down. They probably easily get into field goal range. Greg Joseph sends us home with a win, and yeah, it's just tough, man. But we'll keep Skull alive. You know what to do. A little bit bummed right now. I think everyone is, but we'll keep it rolling. You know what to do. We'll have winners and losers very soon. There's a lot of them. But keep your heads up. Keep Skull alive. Go Broncos tonight. Stupid ass Sean Payton.